It's amazing because we can pick, many different routes to go on when we think about COVID, right? And the different areas and avenues, but a technology push, right? That has come into play, and the normalization of it, Zoom meetings or any type of electronic platform, right, where you're virtually meeting with each other is the norm, right? I think from a business perspective, a whole different conversation on back to office, right? And that kind of conversation and what's going to take place, I think, over the next couple of years. But when we think about notarization, that is affecting professional aspects in the way that people conduct business and can live their lives in North Carolina. You've got banking implications, you've got healthcare implications, obviously legal implications. So focusing on the legal part, so my background, became a real estate broker in 2012, then became a closing attorney in 2015 with my own practice, exited that practice at the end of last year. And the notary concept, I'm a fan. I just renewed my electronic notary, by the way. So I'm kind of in a second round. I feel kind of excited about that. Like, man, I've already done a renewal, right? So that's cool. And now that we're finally there, because it's been a conversation for a long time, you're a primary on this bill. What was it that inspired you to really want to spearhead and be a part of the leadership of this bill?
That's a great question. And as a state legislator, I feel like, my job and our job collectively is to try to support our citizens and, small businesses, small and large businesses across the state. And there's a lot of commerce that's tied into notarization. So from that standpoint, I wanted to be helpful. But also for some context, my day job is I work for a mortgage company. I do marketing for a small business mortgage company. We deal with this kind of thing all the time. Obviously, we're a broker. We're not a lender, but we originate these loans, and then our customers have to go through the notarization process in many cases. And then the closing attorneys and things like that. So we're highly familiar. I'm very familiar on a personal basis with the importance of access and expediency and things of that nature. So and I think the really the holdup, if there was one, if there was any reservation about this, it was about safety and security, and that's why we've written into the legislation that notaries have to abide by certain guidelines for where they're located and geoplacing and things like that, and also we also have some limitations on it as well. Like you can't engage in remote notary for like wills and certain like trust and things of that nature, where the security level could maybe be a little bit more important in some of those cases. I think we eventually might get there. But this was an important first step for banking and a lot of other purposes where a notary is important. And we also have some exemptions there for the military as well. You otherwise have to be present in North Carolina, but we understand we have a large military presence in North Carolina where a lot of the personnel could be overseas at the time they need to get something notarized.
Yeah, and you got to take into account to the military, and I love how continuously North Carolina focuses on our military, on our armed forces, people in armed forces, and keeping them in mind as we create these type of bills, which is fantastic, and I appreciate that.